Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Now, in today's video, I am going to be doing a live deposit into VFAT. So, as you can tell, I am connected to a wallet that has zero total deposit, zero earned, zero daily rewards, and zero APR. And that is all going to change. So, what I've done is I have loaded up a fresh wallet here with $4,500, and I am going to be doing a strategy where we're going to be lending this ETH here. Okay, we're going to be supplying this ETH on Aave, and then we're going to be borrowing against it and then putting that into a position. So we're going to be doing it live on camera so you can see the whole process. I just want to mention before we get into the video that none of this is financial advice, and I am not a financial advisor. Always conduct your own research and always be careful about what you're investing in crypto DeFi because there are risks attached, especially, and even with yield farming, there are risks, okay, such as impermanent loss. And, if you go in with risky projects and risky farms, then of course, that's where you can getting yourself into some hot water. But today we're going to be taking a loan against my $4,500 worth of ETH. Now, I think this is probably a good time to do this since the market has taken a slight pullback. I think it is up today, but in general, the market has taken a slight pullback over the last week. So today is probably a good time to do this because I do think we are in a bullish market. So let's go ahead and see what's going on. So we're going to go ahead and lend this ETH here, and then we're going to borrow against it. Now, there are some risks that do go ahead and play out in this. Of course, we are taking on debt. It is smart debt because we're going to be making more than this 11%, but it is still a risky strategy because we're taking on some debt. So let's go ahead and show you how this works. So you can see 1.42 ETH. Let's go ahead and supply this over on Aave here. And we're going to go ahead and do the max amount, 1.42. We'll leave that at 1.42 just so that we have some gas. I believe we will have some gas anyway. Let's have a look and see how much is in here. 1.422, and we're just doing 1.42. So we will have some gas fees there. And then we're just going to go ahead and supply it this week, this 4.5k worth. Okay, so you can see here that we'll get our staked ETH, and then we can go ahead and withdraw it from the contract whenever we want. So we're going to go ahead and supply that. Let's supply this ETH here. Okay, cool. So we've now gone ahead and supplied it. As you can see my net worth on Aave on this account is $4,580. And now we can go ahead and borrow against it. So you can see here, it says we can borrow up to 3.6k. Now, I'm not going to do this. And by the way, this is going to be a common theme. I am going to deploy a lot more money onto lending platforms and borrowing against it. But for this example, it says that we can borrow $3,600 worth of USDC. However, what we want to do is, if you have a look at essentially what happens is you get liquidated. Let's see if it will show us a liquidation price if we do this. If we click max here. Yes, you can see the health factor. Now, once the health factor gets to 1, you will be liquidated. So essentially, you want to be borrowing around 40% of what you have supplied. And the reason for that is because, again, your liquidation price is around 83% loan to value. So if I have 83% borrowed, this essentially is going to be liquidated. So I obviously do not want to get liquidated, so I'm going to borrow 40% of this. Let's see how much gas we have here. $6, that's fine. So we're going to borrow up to 40% of this here. So we're going to do the math now. Let's pull up our calculator. So it shows here we can borrow $1,830. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to go ahead and click on borrow USDC, and we're going to do $1,830. So that puts our health factor at 2.08. And again, if we did less than that, let's say we did 1,200, you can see my health factor is pretty healthy. $1,000 very healthy. 15 is a bit is healthy as well. But if we do like 25 or 2,000, again, it kind of puts us at more risk. So we're going to do 1,830 here. That puts our health factor at 2.08. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, again, if this gets down to 83% loan to value, then of course we could get into some hot water. But we are borrowing $1,830, puts our health factor at 2.08, which is all good. So we've now gone ahead and borrowed that. And you can see my quote net worth has gone down because we have some debt here that we need to pay off. So if we go to risk details, you can see I have borrowed 39.8 0.89%, and the liquidation threshold is 83%. So it means that I can essentially withstand a 50% drop in the market before I get liquidated, which is nice. So now we have our USDC on the wallet here. We can go ahead and import tokens. You can see our USDC here. We can then go ahead and deploy this at 1.8K. So let's go ahead and do just that. So we're going to go over to VFAT and we're going to go over to farms and have a look to see what's available to us. Now, because this is a cash flow strategy, and the reason this is a better strategy than me just using this ETH or selling this ETH and then going ahead and putting that into the farm, is because I'm not missing out on the potential upside of ETH. I think ETH is going up during this bull market. Therefore, it's a better strategy for me to loan against my Ethereum, because then I'm making money on the way up, but I'm also cash flowing against that asset, if that makes sense. So yeah, let's go over to VFAT and find a position. Now, I'm not going to do a correlated pair for this because, again, I don't want extra risk. I could go into something like Bitcoin and ETH, but then I'm buying fresh Bitcoin and ETH, and I don't really necessarily care about correlation at this point. This is just a free sort of cash flow machine. So we're going to go to ETH and USDC, okay, which is going to be this position here. And we are going to do something similar to what this is showing, but we're not going to do as high of a range. So I'm going to put this, let me look at the chart and have a look at what sort of range we're going to go for. So I am actually going to do a range, this range here, between 3,000 and 3.4K. It gives us some downside as well as some upside here. And it wouldn't surprise me, the market's pretty turbulent at the moment. It wouldn't surprise me if this goes out of range a couple of times, but I'm not too concerned about that right now. In fact, what I might do is I may bring this down slightly and bring that down slightly, so we're even kind of, or maybe just like this, to be honest with you, just so that we have a bit more of wiggle room. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and deposit this full amount here, this 1830, and we're going to go ahead and deposit that, and that's currently going to generate us 517% APR. So you can see here we'll have about a 50-50 split, 900 ETH, 900 USDC. So let's go ahead and click deposit on this, a 9% band there in terms of the range that we are going to be farming between. And we're going to go ahead and confirm this. And then we're going to go ahead and click deposit. And then we are going to be earning some cash flow. And I'll tell you a strategy in just a second on how I'm going to pay back that loan so we can make this a free cash flow machine. So that should be going through, transaction successful. So we are now in this position. So if we go to deposits, you can see we have our deposit there, and you can see we are currently earning $25 per day. It wouldn't surprise me if this goes down to 100% APR or even less than that, which means that we will be earning, less than this, probably, quite a bit less than this when the market does kind of even out and whatnot. So I believe we're probably left with a little bit of USDC. Yeah, so we got $6 here that we can go ahead and increase this deposit with or whatever. But I'm not going to bother. I'm just going to let this stack up. So for now, we're currently making around $700 per month. Now, if that's the case, of course, this APR will fluctuate, but this $700 or $800 a month here in income that we have as potentially, right? This could then go down to paying towards this debt here. So we have 1830 of debt that we need to keep in mind, because ideally we want to pay this off as quickly as humanly possible. So then this is all free money essentially, and we can keep riding this. And we can do whatever we want with this 1.8K. So again, that strategy completely depends on what you want to do personally. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up harvesting, and we're going to harvest in USD BC, and we're going to click auto harvest. Now, the auto harvest is 1.2% of the fees that you earn. However, if we go to withdraw here or harvest, you can see that there's going to be a protocol fee of 0.9%. So it's a very, very small protocol fee. In fact, I'm not going to do that just yet, actually. We will wait. I'm going to hold out on that, but I may go ahead and enable auto harvesting. But for now, I'm going to harvest it manually and start to pay off some of this debt. So every day I can come into here and claim this and then go ahead and pay this off, or I can wait a few days, etc. It doesn't really matter, to be honest. As long as some of this is getting paid down as quick as possible, then the rest of this income is completely mine, essentially free money that I can choose to do whatever I want with at that point. So yep, that is the strategy for lending and borrowing, on the strategy that I'm utilizing. I know it's a pretty popular strategy at the moment. A lot of people are doing this. Just be careful not to over leverage. Of course, let's say, for example, you do get liquidated. You're not going to lose everything. The only thing that's going to get liquidated is what's in here. So you'll be left with what you've borrowed. But of course, that's how they make profit on liquidations. So do keep that in mind. Now, you don't just have to do this on Base, by the way. Aave has a bunch of different chains connected to it. There's other lending platforms as well that you can utilize. So if you want to do this on another chain, same strategy, but on another chain, then potentially you could do that. Now, I am going ahead and going to deposit some Bitcoin into here as well, and then going ahead and borrowing against that. Now, the way I will do that is I will probably then have two positions here, one of them being ETH and USDC, and the other one being Bitcoin and USDC. That is another strategy that I will probably implement at some point over the next couple of weeks, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, that's going to be it for this video. Just thought I'd do a strategy video in terms of me lending and borrowing. Let me know what you think down below. Are you doing this? Let me know. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next video. Take a look in the description at the email newsletter. Take a look at my Discord servers, all that good stuff. With that said, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.